Here's a different way to see the world. There's 8 billion people in the world. There's millions and millions of corporations. There's thousands and thousands of material governments. There's tens of thousands of applications. There's thousands of ideologies. And Bitcoin's a solution for everybody. And one day everyone's going to use this. So Bitcoin is the one thing that qualifies as money because it's going to appreciate in value over time. It's a good point, and here's the way I would say it. The difference between money and speculation is if it's money, then the largest holders are buying more. And if it's speculation, the largest holders are selling. So the real issue is, are the hodlers buying or are they selling? I'll give you an example of great asset classes that are money. Apple stock is money. Apple is buying more, and a lot of people that own Apple stock will buy more. New York City real estate or London real estate or Palm Beach real estate, luxury real estate is money. Because if you look at wealthy people, they're not selling. There's no one bragging about how they sold all their nice places in Palm Beach, New York, and London. They're buying more, right? If you've ever met a rich family that has real estate holdings, they don't sit around saying, yeah, we're going to diversify and we're going to sell next year. We're going to get rid of the entire portfolio at a huge profit over 10 years. What they say is, I'm looking forward to the next deal where we're going to acquire this building, or we're going to buy this other thing.
Michael Saylor, the chairman of MicroStrategy, delves deep into the use case of Bitcoin, emphasizing its unique characteristics as the solution to the defects of traditional money. He envisions a future where, as additional layers and derivative markets develop, Bitcoin will become the universally accepted standard for money. This evolution will take place gradually, supported by increasing corporate adoption and the development of applications that make Bitcoin easier to use for people around the globe. Saylor passionately believes that over time, Bitcoin will become more valuable than gold and other commodities. He foresees a world where Bitcoin's superior attributes as a store of value and medium of exchange are fully recognized, driving its widespread acceptance. In this profound interview, Saylor breaks down how Bitcoin's role will evolve over the next 100 years and beyond, offering a compelling vision of the future of digital currency. His insights provide a comprehensive understanding of why Bitcoin is poised to revolutionize the global financial system. As we bring you more clips from the interview, please take a moment to like the video and subscribe to the channel to help us reach more viewers. Don't forget to turn on post notifications to stay updated with our latest content. Share your thoughts and observations in the comment section below. Thank you and enjoy the video.
Right? They buy and they hold. And they typically buy and hold to give to their children's children. Right? The same is true with art. If it's good art, collectors, Frick, Andrew Mellon, they didn't buy art to flip the art, right? They're not speculators. I bought a Picasso so I could sell the Picasso, right? They wanted to buy them all. That's why they call them collectors. So if something is deemed to be really valuable, you bought $1 billion of it, and your goal is to buy another $1 billion of it. And so if you think about all these things, which thing in the crypto ecosystem is that? Right? Bitcoin is that. Right? I bought a bunch of Bitcoin. My goal is to buy more Bitcoin. Right? It's just a very simple acid test. Do you have an exit strategy? Or is that the exit strategy? Andrew Mellon's exit strategy was, I'm going to buy all the great art I can get my hands on. I'm going to build a beautiful building in Washington, D.C., and I'm going to endow the National Gallery with the art as a gift to the people of the country. That was the exit strategy. And you get the idea. It wasn't a speculation. So Bitcoin is the one thing that qualifies as money because it's going to appreciate in value over time. The world's full of investments that are speculations or trades. Commodities, of course, are not money. Every single commodity other than Bitcoin is going to lose value over time, starting with gold, but certainly silver, soybeans, oil, natural gas. You can't really invest in them. You can invest in property. You could buy like all the mineral rights for 10,000 acres. That might be an investment that might go up in value, maybe, but generally it's super scarce, desirable art. It's desirable property. It's Bitcoin. And maybe it's like unregulated digital monopolies, the Magnificent Seven. But even then, your time horizon on that stuff is 10 years. It's not 100 years. I can show you people that will say, I own some New York real estate that I hope to hold for 100 years, right? I mean, I can find property people that would say, yeah, I got 100-year life on that. Like if I offered you all the mineral rights for the entire state of Pennsylvania, might you keep it in the family for a few hundred years? If I offered you the middle of Tokyo or the middle of London, might you keep it in the family for 300 years? Yeah, maybe, if you could afford to pay the taxes. So I think that this hodler dynamic is important, but really it's indicative of the fact that Bitcoin is money. And it's a very simple acid test. Look at every crypto billionaire that holds something other than Bitcoin, and then check to see whether they bought 100 million more worth of that stuff. And when you find one, you might pay attention, but I haven't seen one, right? If you only see the world as Bitcoin node holders, individuals and miners and developers and a couple of whales, if that's your view of the universe, then you tend to get into these polarized debates about, transaction fees or polarized debates over the protocol. But here's a different way to see the world. There's 8 billion people in the world. There's millions and millions of corporations. There's thousands and thousands of material governments. There's tens of thousands of applications. There's thousands of ideologies. And Bitcoin's a solution for everybody. And one day everyone's going to use this. And so if you see a network with millions of companies and billions of users and hundreds of countries and thousands of municipalities and governments, right? And hundreds of religions and ideologies, then you have to, and cultures, you have to allow that there's going to be a great diversity in the way that Bitcoin is used. So I think that, when you're considering, the network, the future of the network, you got to consider the impact of this on all political constituencies. So I think of the hodlers or the holders, that's one constituency. The miners are another constituency. There's node runners, another group, and developers, another group. But those are kind of technical definitions. Like, for example, a node is not a node is not a node. Coinbase runs a node and Cash App runs a node. And if Cash App clears 100,000 Bitcoin transactions a day, their node is a little bit more important than my node. I could run a node, but if I'm not approving, and maybe more to the point, denying transactions, at the point where I basically take $100 million wired into my corporation, and then I refuse to deliver the Bitcoin because my node says it wasn't a good transaction, I'm an important node. So not all miners are created equal. I mean, ones with more hash rate are more equal. Not all nodes are created equal. If you have economic velocity, $100 million a day of economic velocity through your node, then that's more equal than someone that clears one transaction for $20 once a year. Not all hodlers are equal, right? Someone that's holding $1 billion of Bitcoin will probably hire 20 lawyers and go litigate over, the issue of, is somebody Satoshi or not, right? Or Bitcoin positive things, whereas someone that has $100 of Bitcoin can't afford to hire the lawyers, and they're not going to litigate, and and so they're not going to have the same amount of influence. You have to consider that. And I think that the political system of the future, you're going to have Bitcoin energy companies that provide electricity to power Bitcoin miners. They have an influence. You have Bitcoin banks, that is corporations that are moving layer 1 and layer 2 and layer 3 Bitcoin around high frequency, like Coinbase, like Cash App, like Fidelity. You're going to have Bitcoin devices, like the signing apps, the cold cards, right? The BitKeys of the world, the ledgers of the world. You're going to have applications, right? And inscriptions and ordinals, they're like the first of 1,000. There'll be thousands of applications. And some will succeed and some will fail, and the market will decide. Then you've got corporations and institutions, right? that are aligned with Bitcoin. They all have an interest, whether it's a human rights foundation or whether it's a nonprofit or whether, at some point Google and Microsoft and Apple. I mean, Apple has an influence right now. I mean, right? If, Apple basically denies wallet of Satoshi, certain privileges, right? They have an influence. And so corporations are going to have influences. And then you've got fiat banks, and the banks are the bridge between the fiat currency and the Bitcoin ecosystem. And so they do have an impact, right? If they're Silvergate or Signature and they're shut down, you can see what happens. But on the other hand, what you see right now is more and more fiat banks are coming online. So, when Banco Santander or Deutsche Bank or a Swiss bank or another bank, gets involved, I don't think it's not a cause for us to regret. We should welcome all of them, because ultimately the countries and the fiat currencies aren't going away. They benefit from joining the network. Bitcoiners benefit from them joining the network. They have constraints. There are certain things banks can't do. Like the latest guidance was no more than 2% of your capital could be crypto related. Okay, well, there are laws. There are restrictions. They'll have KYC, AML, banking laws. There are certain things corporations can't do, right? That's why a corporate custodian can't give you certain Bitcoin transactions in New York City. Or you can't do a Bitcoin transaction without doing a KYC or AML, authentication on certain apps. Well, corporations can't do that in certain countries. In another country, they might be able to do that. Non-companies might be able to do that. Who knows? What do I see? I see a world where, if everybody's not using Bitcoin, then let's say half. Take half of 8 billion people, take half of 100 million companies, take half of thousands and thousands of ideologies, take half of 1 million politicians. So lots and lots of people are going to get involved. They're all going to get involved in a different way. And, when we think about Bitcoin, it's better for us to say Bitcoin's a solution to everybody's problem. Let us show, we're the universal sweetener or the universal benefit. The question is, which nationality and which ideology benefits from mathematics? All of them. Okay. Which ones do you agree with? Some of them. Which companies benefit from mathematics? All of them. Which companies would you buy from? Some of them, right? We're all going to disagree about everything else, right? We're all going to disagree about ideology and religion and regulations. And that means that you're going to see so many different implementations of Bitcoin. You'll see as many implementations of Bitcoin as like you will see books written in English, right? They're all written in English, but they don't all say the same thing, right? Somebody writes Communist Manifesto in English and somebody writes In Defense of Capitalism in English, and they both used English. And it was beneficial to both of them to use English. And that's why we don't want to be censors. It's like, oh, I heard that some people in a place I don't like are using my language. The truth is, it's beneficial to, say, the Western world when our enemies use English. It's beneficial to America when our enemies use dollars. It's beneficial to the human race when your enemy uses mathematics, right? It's beneficial to everybody in the Bitcoin ecosystem when everybody uses Bitcoin.
So there you have it. Michael Saylor's insightful analysis of Bitcoin's future as sound money, a solution to flawed monetary systems, and a foundation for a trustworthy and decentralized financial system. He envisions Bitcoin surpassing gold and other commodities in value. What are your thoughts on Michael's analysis? Give your comment and observations in the comment section below. Subscribe to the channel and give this video a thumbs up. Thanks for watching.